Hello and welcome back to Redirecting. It is always wonderful when we have good news to bring. I love it when we have good news, especially something that is going to benefit my people. Okay, now whether you live on the continent of Africa or not, the fact that that is our place of origin is enough for me to be concerned about what's happening there. And it sounds like this is going to be something that will benefit a lot of the population, okay, and not just foreigners. This is something that's going to take place in Africa. Now, there's an article. It says that Africa is poised to become the world's largest solar power zone in 2025. Okay, so it's still a little off yet, but the fact that they're looking at this is a great option for Africa because, as you know, some regions don't even have electricity. Okay, and then other regions, even if they do have it, they have rations or they cut it off for periods of time to where it can be an inconvenience for people. So looking at something like this is actually something the whole world needs to be doing because, as you know, the sun is up there, and why not use its power with all these other power sources that they are using? Some of it is not good for you. It's not good for the environment. It's not good for the people. So let me read this article. It's not that long, so I just want to get this little jolt of good news out here because, again, solar power, whether you're on the continent or not, is something that you should seek after. That is definitely something that we are seeking after. I think it's a better option than what they're currently offering. It may cost a bit in up front, but in the long run, it's going to save you a lot. So anyway, it says the African continent has been facing tough times with shortage of power. The frequent cuts in power supply have been having a toll on businesses and domestic customers. It is estimated that in the Sahel region, Senegal, Nigeria, Mauritania, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, Chad, Sudan, and Eritrea, about 64% of the population lives without electricity. And that is hindering economic and social development. Energy poverty in Africa is estimated to cost the continent 2.4% GDP annually, cites figures from the African Development Bank. Thanks to an initiative that will harness the exceptional solar resource of the Sahel region, the trend is likely to change. Known as the Desert to Power program, the initiative is led by the AFDB and other partners to turn Africa's deserts into new sources of energy. What a great idea! Awesome idea! I look forward to seeing something like this happen. This is wonderful news. Outlined as part of the Paris Agreement climate change talks at COP24 in Katowice, Poland this week, the project will provide green electricity to 250 million people through the development of 10,000 megawatts of solar power systems by 2025. Magdalena J. Ciol in the AFDB's Desert to Power initiative said, "Energy is the foundation of human living. Our entire system depends on it. For Africa right now, providing and securing sustainable energy is in the backbone of its economic growth. A lack of energy remains as a significant impediment to Africa's economic and social development," she added. The Sahel is a semi-arid region on the southern edge of the Sahara Desert, stretching across the African continent from Senegal in the west to Ethiopia in the east. The program to turn the desert into energy was first highlighted in June 2018 when the African Development Bank and its partners, the Green Climate Fund and the Africa 50 Investment Fund, signed a letter of intent on the sidelines of the annual meeting of the African Development Bank. AFDB President Akinwumi Adesina at the time indicated that with investment from the private sector, the initiative could ultimately become the world's largest solar power zone. Awesome, family, awesome. Would love to see something like this take place. The Desert to Power program which will help developing countries adapt to the mitigate climate change, will also create employment and attract private sector involvement in renewable energy in the region. Electricity will also be more affordable for low-income houses while people will transition away from unsafe and hazardous energy sources such as kerosene, which carries health risk. Currently, renewables projects in Africa include the Ouarzazate solar complex in Morocco, which is one of the largest concentrated solar plants in the world, as well as the Climate Investment Fund that has helped fund the Seer Wind Farm in South Africa. Now, again, this is some wonderful news because Africa is right now, the majority of Africa is, like they said, I believe it was 64% of the population in certain regions are without electricity. So that's a big deal, especially for those of us who are used to having electricity and running water and things of that nature. There's a saying that you never miss your water until the well runs dry. Well, the same can be said for electrical power. Whenever we have power outages because of storms, you know how we get. We're like calling, trying to find out when is the power going to be back on. And if your phone isn't working because of the power outage, you're getting on your cell phone. In some cases, you're driving down. If the electric company is close by, you're driving there. Got any news yet? And so imagine how it must have been for these people living this long without it. Now, many of them have grown used to it because they have other ways of doing things, which is great. But again, not having it has kept them behind in so many different things. And so I'm grateful to hear. I'm so glad that this is happening, and Africa is going to be the largest. And I think this is a wonderful idea. I wish it's something that came forward before now, but better late than never. Okay, family, I just wanted to bring this great and wonderful news to you, but that is not all. So I'll be back with more in just a moment, but for now, I will say shalom. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.